Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. In your book, Karan, you write about a controversial interview with Amitabh Bachchan. What was so controversial about it? That is quite a story, actually. But let me tell you just the beginning of it. It was an interview done to mark Amitabh Bachchan's 50th birthday, and it was done for Eyewitness, the video magazine that I used to be editor of in those days. Now, during one of the tape changes, and we were roughly 10-15 minutes into the interview, Amitabh suddenly said to me that he'd seen an interview with the American actor Warren Beatty, which he'd greatly admired. So I said, well, what about the interview did you like so much? He said, what I liked was that the interviewer asked Beatty particular sharp, pointed questions about Beatty's women, about the women he'd had alleged affairs with, about the women he was supposed to have made love to. And Amitabh found this riveting because, as he said, we've all heard about these stories, but no one had ever seen Beatty questioned about them, and it was fascinating to hear the questions being put. And I said to myself, this is a bizarre thing to say to an interviewer in the middle of an interview. Is he giving me a message? And I decided that was precisely what he was doing. And I was completely unprepared for this line of questioning. I knew, of course, about the stories connecting Amitabh to people like Praveen Babi and Rekha, but I'd never done any research. I hadn't prepared myself to question him about this. So I said to myself, right, we're going to have to take a bit of a leap of faith here. And when the interview commenced, I said to him, you've just told me a story about a Warren Beatty interview you greatly admired, and this is the reason why you liked it, so let me take a leaf out of your book and ask you about the women in your life. I questioned him about Rekha, I questioned him about Praveen Babi, and to be honest, I didn't know more about that subject, so I had to stop at that point. And he kept denying it, and he denied it with great composure. Then I looked at his wife Jaya, who was sitting beside him, and I said, do you believe him? And she looked at Amitabh and smiled and said, of course I believe my husband. But there was something about the way she said it, that twinkle in her eye that suggested that it's just possible, she may be meaning the opposite of what she'd said. Anyway, this didn't affect Amitabh. He was completely composed. His sang-froid was intact. But after the interview ended, the story changed dramatically. And what happened afterwards is very much a part of the book.